Welcome to memoQ Talks, where we talk to industry leaders about their experiences, lessons learned, and what works best across all areas of localization. Now here's your host.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this newest episode of memoQ Talks. Today I'm very happy to welcome two of our own as guests today. So I'm sitting here with two memoQ people. One of them is Monika Skoneczna, who is a senior technical communication specialist and is part of the documentation and localization team here at memoQ. Welcome.
Hello.
I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you, babe.
And we also have György Bokros, who we know as Gyuri here. And his title, I believe, is Head of Product Design, and it's quite new. Congratulations on that title.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Hi.
And my name is Zsófi. I am your host today. I'm a product marketing manager at memoQ. If you like what you hear today, please drop us a like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, today's topic is going to be accessibility. As it turned out in recent years, making a software product accessible is not at all an obvious task, and making a legacy software product into an accessible product that has been designed not taking into account accessibility is even harder. But we're very proud to say that we're making headway here at memoQ in the topic of accessibility. And I'm sitting here with the two people who have been very involved in this and who have the expertise and the passion to talk to me about accessibility in the memoQ team. So I'm going to start with introductions. Monika, what brings you to the localization industry? Tell me a little bit about your background.
I cannot say money, right? So what brings me to the localization industry? I was here in the industry for since I remember. So after my university studies, I just joined and hopped into the bandwagon, and I'm just rolling in with the flow. And yeah, I started as a content writer, and then slowly but surely transitioned to tech writing and UX writing. And I will not go back. It's just I'm staying here forever.
And how did accessibility come into the picture for you personally?
Oh, there's many levels to this question and many levels to the answer. So I'm a user myself because not because of the glasses, but also because of the contrast problems. And majority of my friends are affected by the lack of accessibility in many shape of forms and many apps or day-to-day situations. So language-wise, it's how complicated the language is,
right,
how well the documentation is structured, and how well the page is structured, UX writing-wise. So yeah, that's the accessibility stuff for me, and it's strongly connected with what I'm doing. There's no division. No way.
Thank you. And how about you, Gyuri? Where do you come from? How did you end up in the language industry?
I came from a different background. I used to work at media companies before, and I designed news websites. And memoQ wasn't totally new to me because I have known Balázs for many years, actually. I was a webmaster, so to say, at his father's book publishing company.
Right.
And I designed, I developed his website. And this was almost 20 years ago. So back then, as a webmaster existed. But nowadays, it's not a job title anymore. So,
okay.
And when the memoQ HR reached me, if I'm interested to work here, I was very intrigued. This was more than 5 years ago, and I really love to be here. And as for accessibility and inclusive product design, I believe it's absolutely essential. And of course, accessibility is everyone's concern. Anyone can find themselves in a situation where the conditions of using a digital product aren't ideal. And think about trying to see, for example, your monitor when the sun is shining, or riding your bike home and using the bike computer with only one hand. So these are also some kind of situation where accessibility and inclusive design is essential. But what really opened my eyes was when we had an interview session with one of our visually impaired user who was struggling with our web interfaces. This was a truly eye-opener to me because I didn't have any experience about that before. And at the end, we researched and learned a lot about her struggles. And we ended up with a solution on our current web translation interface, and this was the situation when I realized how important is this.
This is something that everyone experiences on some level.
Yeah, exactly like
and
that.
It's very important for us to keep in mind those users who may have some disabilities or have any type of struggles with our product.
Yeah.
Monika, my next question is to you. Can you identify one biggest barrier to disabled users that prevents them from using our product from full capacity?
Well, the biggest one is lack of accessibility features that we kind of solved for now, but we're working on it to make it better and to make the whole product accessible.
Yeah.
Because we started with the editor for the web trans, added accessibility mode, and it was fantastic. I'm so proud of us and of the team, because it's not only us working on this, but also we have our devs and Trot, who is our PM. So it's like team effort, and the amount of work the guys and girls are putting into it is just like something else. So that's one thing. But the biggest challenge, I cannot say what is the biggest one, because it depends on the user. So we've got, as Gyuri said, we've got our testers, like visual impaired testers, which are our source of truth, a source of knowledge. Then there's me, I'm testing with the screen readers, but I'm not visually impaired. I've got my issues with contrast, and we are trying to address them. But then, I don't know, there are also lack of transcription or captions, but it's more like documentation problem and marketing materials problem. So I would not say that there's one. There are bits and bobs here and there.
Yeah, I was expecting that. It's highly subjective, I think.
Exactly.
But you had to start somewhere. You had to start prioritizing addressing these issues. Gyuri, how did that come about? What came first? What came second? What did you prioritize on?
I see this from two perspectives, I would say, that work together. Meeting legal and contractual obligations and creating real user value. The first part is more straightforward technically. We need to comply with WCAG 2.1 AA guidelines, which were developed by this World Wide Web Consortium.
Okay.
And these guidelines have been implemented in most countries' legal frameworks. This is the state-of-the-art guideline. To ensure we follow these guidelines, we are using some kind of software validators, for example, a browser extension and something like that. And we are also starting to integrate these tools in the development cycle. And these tools clearly show what needs to be done, how do we need to fix these accessibility issues on web interfaces. And the second approach is more holistic, testing the user interface with different screen reader software, external also built-in software solutions. And this is a more detailed work that requires more time, more creativity, I would say. And this is typically what Monika is doing. And the best results come from both approaches.
Okay, so you combine the legal stuff with user testing, user experience, interviews.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, accessibility needs to be considered from the beginning of not just the development phase, but from the design process. Of course, it's not something you add later. Ideally, this mindset should be present through the entire design and development process. And currently, we are in the validation and tool configuration phase right now in the production team. But we already have concrete success and that provide good feedback from our users. And of course, this learning process, this is a learning process also for us. Monika and I aim to spread some kind of awareness and cultivate the culture of accessible design throughout the entire organization.
Okay.
And it's working, to be honest. I'm super happy because I can see the progress, and I mentioned devs already, but they are the ones. They're coming and asking okay, we're missing alt text here, or we're what should I do to make it better for you? Because it's working like that now. And this is amazing. Seriously, another level for me.
That's really exciting. So would you say that from now on, anything you design, anything you come up with goes with accessibility in mind?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. Okay, that's amazing. Let's go to something different, documentation. Monika, you're part of the documentation and localization team. And besides the product, we are also trying to make documentation more accessible. Is there such a thing as accessible documentation?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this documentation goes with the product. There's they are not separable. You cannot separate them. So docs has to be accessible, and it's not only for imagine yourself if you cannot find something in the docs, not only because the search is not working correctly, but the buttons are not labeled correctly, or the wording is strange and you have no idea what kind of technical jargon it is, and you need to go to another manual to really understand what you're reading. So that's the documentation that is not accessible at all. So we're fighting in the Doclog team with that. And so we created with the part of the design team and part of the devs team a new documentation page and new help center page where the navigation is finally nice and clear and the language is better as well. And I tested it, and our user, visually impaired user, tested it with screen readers, and we've got dark mode. I'm super happy about it. Slowly but surely we're getting there. It's an ongoing process for me.
You mentioned two aspects here. One of them is the language and one of them is the arrangement.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on both, please?
Sure. So we know that the majority of our users are not native speakers.
Yeah.
So when trying to write documentation or writing it, actually, we have to have this in mind. And using plain language, plain English, easy to read English. Sometimes STE, so simplified technical English, is also helpful. Depends on the part of the UI or part of the product we're talking about. Then also the structure, so the correct headings, and that will help, for example, screen reader users to navigate through the page. All combined gives you the correct option. There's more. I could talk about it for an hour or two, but it's not the topic actually. But those are the basic rules for us, and we'll not go back, hopefully.
Okay. That sounds very exciting.
It is.
And the question is to both of you. You can go in whichever order you want to, but there must be something that you feel as the biggest success of the products and the documentation's accessibility journey. What would you say is the most successful for you or the most memorable for you?
You go first.
Yeah, I think our biggest success for now is creating this accessibility mode in WebTrans. It wasn't a simple task from identifying the problem and finding a solution and then testing it even. It's also not obvious sometimes. It was an excellent collaborative work involving the product manager, the developers, UX writer, UX designer. So I think we all learned a lot from this effort. So yeah, this WebTrans accessibility mode is something.
Okay, how about you, Monika?
Oh, I have two. So the first one, we were at the conference talking about what the team did and like what kind of fantastic thing we created with this accessibility mode, and talking about our plans. And then the lady came to me and she was like, I have ADHD and I have also contrast problems and I'm using Swindler because it helps me focus, which was like kind of unusual, but whatever helps her translating to translate. And then I was asking her, okay, but what was the exit? Like, what helped you? And she said that, okay, now language is clearer for me. And my eyes went like, boom. And she said that also when she's trying to like access the WebTrans, like the translating process is clearer and easier for her. So that was one thing. And then she said that documentation is also better in some parts. So that was the first one. And the second one is what Gyuri said, exactly the same. I really love watching our guys and girls working on the product and how into the accessibility process they are. And we've got this visually impaired translator that was here at the office testing our tool. And I was observing the guys. And they were just like mesmerized. And I can see the progress.
I'm sure you've also learned a lot throughout this process. Would you say there is something that's the most memorable for you, the biggest takeaway or the biggest learning of this ongoing experience with accessibility?
Yeah, my background and focus area was previously more the user interface, the graphical part of the UX UI job, the visual design of these interfaces. And it wasn't easy to look beyond the visual perspective to see behind the user interface. But what surprised me was realizing that everyone actually benefits from design to keep in mind the accessibility standards, and everyone can benefit from consider these accessibility factors. It improves the general usability for all users, not just those who has specific needs. And hearing how a screen reader interprets the user interface is completely changed my understanding of what makes a good design. I was also surprised to learn that accessibility isn't just about permanent disabilities, but also about everyday situations.
Yeah. That was nice. So he mentioned screen readers and how screen readers interpret our work. So I learned that I like to change the voice of a screen reader very often because it really annoys me. And so that was my biggest takeaway. But then when it comes to learning, that is a fun part for me because every single time I'm talking with the guys, for example, and girls about the accessibility stuff, they are giving me different perspectives. And Gyuri is teaching me a lot about the UX design. And the whole design team, to be honest, because we've got different people there and with different perspectives, different knowledge, and they're adding gradually. That's one thing, and yeah, I will not say that I'm trying to understand coding, but I'm trying to, and the devs are there, especially one. But yeah,
You are doing great.
So you're learning to code.
I'm observing people coding. That's more accurate. But yeah, when it comes to like writing or UX writing or documentation writing, I need to at least understand it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to use our developers as much as I can for that as well. And then I'm trying to use Gyuri and the design team as much as I can as well to learn more, because we're doing the same thing from different angles, to be honest. So it has to nicely.
It's very nice to hear about how collaborative you guys are, how you work together.
Yeah, it's a true collaborative effort.
The fun part is the challenge.
Yeah.
For me, different people, different aspects, and then the challenge that comes with it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then there's that spark.
Oh yeah, the spark. Yes.
when you just realize something suddenly and it's wow.
Yeah.
This works. It's so cool.
Yeah. True.
What can you tell me about next steps? What are the plans when it comes to accessibility in the next, let's say, 1 year?
Can we tell you? I don't know if we can tell this. This is a mystery and secret.
Yeah, of course we
Go
can.
ahead.
Our next task is to better integrate these accessibility development tools to our process, so we can catch the issues during the development phase. Of course, this doesn't replace the manual testing. This is something we still need to do. But the combination of using these tools during the development and testing after, which creates a truly accessible experience, I would say. And we are primarily focusing on our web-based solution. We have already successfully made the term finder accessible with this approach. And next, we will be working on the web-based translator interface, followed by the web-based project management interfaces.
Exactly what he said.
You have nothing to add.
Well, I'm working on the docs as well.
Yeah.
So slowly but surely, keep your fingers crossed for us. There's a lot of the documentation.
And you mentioned that you are trying to create awareness around accessibility. Is there anything that you would like to teach the world about all of this?
That's a good question. What I hope to teach the world about accessible software design is that it isn't an extra feature or a burden. It's a good design. When we design for accessibility, we are actually designed for better usability for everyone. And it's about creating software that works well in different situations and for all types of users.
So it shouldn't be seen as a plus. It should be the default.
Exactly like that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you, Monika?
I don't know if I want to teach people.
Okay.
But definitely, I would like to explain that if nothing will change, we'll screw it. No, to be honest, there are different aspects of the whole accessibility situation and how you can really work around it and work with it. So I'm saying this every single time I'm talking with people about accessible language, for example.
Yeah.
Every single time I think about my mom who is using apps or trying to. So yeah, I'm reading what I wrote and I'm watching what they created and what he designed. And I'm like, will my mom be able to use it?
Okay.
And that's hello, mom. That's my baseline. So that's my approach, and I think that it's a good one because my mom is 70 almost. And nothing against people that are almost 70, but the thing is that we've got the different levels of being tech savvy.
Yes.
And like my baseline are people that are not the most tech savvy ones. So here we're going to start with that, and then we're going to like top it up. So as Gyuri said as well, the accessibility is also for those people, and my writing should be accessible for them as well. So it's not only visually impaired or like with like people with different disabilities and like life challenges, but for me primarily this is the level.
Have you ever shown your mom anything you did?
When I was working as a content creator, writer, I showed her like Polish stuff I wrote, and she was like, but who wrote that? And I was like, me. And I was like, very, very, very nice, but what do you mean by this and this? And the wording was the problem.
I see.
Because I used too much references, too much like jargon for the brand that I was working for. And she was like, can you tell me more? Because she was super confused. And I have this image in my mind every single time. And I'm writing something, and then about term bases or whatever we got inside. And I hear my mom like, very nicely done, but what does it mean? So, yeah.
I love that approach, honestly.
Thank you.
And this podcast is in video form and also in audio form. And I was thinking about the accessibility of the podcast itself. Is there anything, I know it's slightly a different territory, but is there anything you can advise to us and the editing team as to how to make it more accessible to people with disabilities?
It's important to add accurate closed captions and subtitles. This is essential for people who are deaf or hard of hearing, and make sure the captions are properly synchronized with the audio. And for YouTube, specifically write a detailed description, including timestamps for different topics covered, like hours. Write a detailed description in the description field, and it helps people to navigate between the topics and the sections they are interested in.
Okay, some of those we're already doing, so I'm glad.
Yeah. Just keep doing that.
Yeah. But I would say with like Gyuri mentioned captions, and I really hate those auto-generated ones. Like they are something else. Like
I agree.
Let's not use them.
Yeah.
Then auto description. This is my favorite one because I love that. Every single time it's added to the video, I'm just like going there and say, okay. I would also go with transcription because I'm using it as well. I have sometimes like I have no time or I'm not willing to watch the video, and I really like to quickly scan the transcription and like check if it's for me or not. So I would add that. And then I don't let like flashy things, like really it's not good for my eyesight and for my contrast and migraines as well.
Yeah.
So I would ask you not to use anything flashy. And that's all, I think.
I don't think we use anything flashy, so we're not going to have anything flashy.
Yeah,
I have a funny story about transcription. Back then, memoQ as a word can be transcribed in many ways.
Yes.
And and with one of my colleagues, we started to count how many different types memoQ can be transcribed, and we stopped around 20 or more, something like that.
This is funny because with our training team, so Anna and Ines, we have this ongoing joke that with the 90 seconds video that we create, how many different memoQs are there? Mm-hmm. So we have like 15 so far, and it's like, I don't think it's gonna stop soon.
Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't know that.
I love that. Well, thank you for the tips. And we're slowly approaching the end. And at the end of the episodes, I have a thing that I got from Balázs, actually. He likes to ask people about learning and about their next endeavors. What are you planning to learn next? Either of you can go first.
Oh, I'm into diving.
Okay.
So I want that. But no, to be serious now, I want more UX design because I think that my job, like let's think about docs or UX writing. UX design is important because I want to understand what's there and how I can use it. So his brain is essential, and like coding as well. But I'm not that smart to code myself, so I need my developers, our developers, to explain me stuff. So I would like to dive deep into those two topics.
Diving again.
Yeah. And then maybe some French.
Okay. We've got many people in the team who speak French. Do you speak French with any of them?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'll not say that I speak. Oh, my Hungarian.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. So
Yeah, we shared with Monika a lot of Hungarian music already.
That's true. I was there.
No, but the fun part about them sharing stuff with me is that one of them is always translating, and it's the cutest thing ever. So yeah, it's fun.
How about you, Gyuri?
Implementing the planned accessibility strategy is one of the goal we would like to achieve, and gather feedback on it, internal, I mean, from developers, product managers, and so on, and make improvements where necessary. And we want to create a continuous cycle of implementation and feedback and refinement if necessary. And on a more personal note, there has been change, as you mentioned, in my professional journey. I have become the memoQ's head of product design. And this role involves directing UX design more from a strategic point of view. And I like to discover the new possibilities of this role.
Oh, nice.
Good luck to both of you with those endeavors.
We need that.
And there is one more thing I'm usually stealing from Balázs, and it's a very fun question, I promise. On a personal level, do you have anything that you've been very much into recently, a book or music, or what would you recommend to our listeners?
Recently.
You mentioned a book to me, Monika, that you really enjoyed, haven't you?
The Witcher, you mean?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We can go with that, yeah. The Witcher. I'm on the last book of the series. It's fun. I thought that it's not going to be like the book, like the series for me. But then it turned out to be like pretty nice. But I'm not sure if I'm like super into it. I just like reading. That's the thing. We killed spiders yesterday, so I'm super into that. Can I say that killing spiders is super fun?
Disclaimer, it was a game.
Yeah, it's a computer game. Yeah. Like arcade game more. Like, help me here. Like what was it?
What was the name of the game?
I don't remember. We were sitting in a big vehicle. And there were like two machine handguns or whatever you call them. And we were trying to survive in the bush or like the jungle. And that was fun. Okay. I want more of that in my life. So yeah. And I need to really learn how to throw the ball when it comes to bowling. Yes, that's my goal then.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of a home renovation, and maybe
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Is there anything you enjoyed about it particularly, or?
Yeah, actually, you can learn a lot from YouTube.
Okay.
And it's a really nice place to learn from, like plastering and how a roof is going to be built and something like that. So this is a very, very new territory to me.
Right. I'm wishing you the best with that too.
Thank you.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it needs some patience and dedication for sure.
When it comes to learning, I'm learning from him about coffee. He's throwing some like serious names on me, like the professionals, like, oh, okay. Because I'm addicted to coffee a bit. Like I love my coffee. The more, the better. And he's just like, okay, this is like called this, and this is this kind of roasted beans, and like you should go with this one. I do recommend Gyuri for coffee. No,
What about this coffee? You are roasting coffee yourself?
Yeah, I'm roasting coffee at home. I started it a few years ago because I watched a video on YouTube and I was truly mesmerized how you can do that at home. And it had some kind of learning curve. I started to roast it in the oven, but it doesn't turn out very, very well. And the next step was I modified a popcorn machine. And it was recommended by other home roasters, but after that I bought a dedicated home roasting machine, and it's awesome to roast your own coffee at home.
do you have pictures of this popcorn machine?
I don't think so.
Oh, damn. I'm curious now.
That sounds amazing. I'd like to thank you both for being with me here today.
My
I
pleasure.
really enjoyed this interview and I learned a lot myself, and I hope our listeners did too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
This
very
was
much.
Monika and Gyuri from memoQ. I'm Zsófi. I was your host today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining memoQ Talks, where we talked with industry leaders about their experiences and lessons learned to gain new insights about what works best across all areas of localization. Join us next time on memoQ Talks.